Welcome to Behind the Music episode 7. By your request on Instagram, someone suggested an old song off my first album, Fortified, Sydney's Most Wanted. Okay, so I'm going to give you the backstory on Sydney's Most Wanted, how we created it, who created it, and where we created it. So, the song features Head Hubbard and it's produced by Defiant. Defiant at the time was making these beat CDs and putting 2-pack vocals over them. So, I think the acapella he put on was "Let Them Things Go," if you know that song. And they were sounding banging. Like, he was remixing this shit, and he was really fucking making some good remixes. So I think I heard that mix CD, and then I told him I want that instrumental, right? At the time, I was working on my first album, Fortified, which I probably started work on. The first song I might have done in like 2005, 2006, but the shit didn't get released to 2011. But that's a story for another day. So this song probably was made, if I'm right, in 2009 at Layla Park. It was written at Layla Park. At the time, me and Abed were in a trap house. And it was a pretty serious trap house. And we used to spend a lot of time there. And I remember it was a weekend. And we were fucking on various substances. We were off our nut, right? And we had this big stereo setup, big TV, this, that. And we'd, at the time, you had to play CD. So we'd play this CD and we'd play it and we'd put it on loop. And like, I remember me and Albert sitting on the lounge, like we had this big lounge suite. And I don't know, I think I kicked that song off. And I was just, so I'd write a little bit. So in the song, I said, Albert, let's go back and forth. And this was really this was probably the first original track where I started to call myself At Large. Like the moniker At Large, it was created in 2009, you know what I mean? I actually created it on that lounge. Like, it might have even been that night. Because Head Hubbard used to call himself Head Hubbard Young Three-Face. And I was just Forte at the time. So I needed Forte something. So I just chose Forte At Large. That seemed to be what I could relate to at the time. So we had this pen and paper, and I kicked it off. Can't turn my back because this one around. I heard the type of song was and now. So my emphasis was more on just doing multi-syllable rhymes, right? And now I'm heading, like, I finished my bit, I literally hand the piece of paper to Ovid. I think I've got this piece of paper in storage somewhere still. So I think I've still got the original lyrics with my handwriting and his handwriting. So I'd write my shit. I'd pass it to Ovid. He'd write his shit. So it goes, can't turn my back because it's one around. Head the 10% was now, chilling on my clown. So that's 4 bars. And then Albert would do 4s, and 4 bars, and he'd be going off my shit. Da, 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 da. Then he'd pass it to me. So every time we're passing this thing back and forth, it's like, oh shit, this cunt said some shit. Oh, now I'm stepping up. Now, like, and we sat there and wrote the song. It goes for about 3 minutes. You have to listen to it. There's some fucking good punchlines in it. You know what I mean? But this was when we were deep in the trap land and fucking really living what we were saying. And it was a fun time and a very uncertain time because I remember one day I was watching the news. We had the Foxtel thing, and I recorded the news and all this shit because I used to record programs to watch. And then it was like drive by at Seven Hills, drive by at Blacktown, drive by at Marion, drive by at fucking Kings Park, Quakers Hill. Like it was the drive by season, right? And I remember looking at this map, and I go, and you could see all the suburbs, and we were in Layla Park, and I go, well, I guess Layla Park's next. Lo and behold, maybe a couple of days later, I'm fucking in the house. And look, Albert was a bit wild back then. One time, there was something in the house that shouldn't have been there, and he got drunk and decided to put holes in the wall. So like, I go to the toilet, right? And there's these girls at their house, and I'm in the toilet, and I'm pissing, and I hear bang, 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 and I was like, and I thought because I had one of my other good mates there, I thought he must have seen what Ubbard did and try to impress and try to try and up it, but it wasn't him. It was fucking. Actually, the next door neighbor's house got sprayed up. They fucking pulled up and sprayed it with a machine gun, like 20 shots. You can look it up, the news article, and one of the bullets grazed a 4-year-old kid. There was a gang back in the day called Notorious, and the newspaper said it was a notorious clubhouse or something. But they also said the target may have been a nearby drug den, which fuck knows who they're talking about there. But so this song, Sydney's Most Wanted, ended up on my first album. I guess because I heard the remix by Defiant that had Tupac on it, that it might have inspired me to be like two of because in it I go two of the most, not Tupac and Snoop. If you pack and shoot, quit yap and make some shit happen. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe it was either that line influenced the title, or the fact that it already had a Tupac a cappella on it. I'm not sure, but then we went to Electric Sun and we recorded it down there, and it ended up on my first album and was released in 2011. And if you check it out, I think that shit still bangs today. So that's the story behind Sydney's Most Wanted. Sorry, I just watched that video while I was editing it, and I realized there was a bit more to that story than what I told, and it's quite interesting. So I thought I'd put it in there, right? So, okay, so when I said there was girls in the house, right? Hubbard had just left, maybe 3 minutes before. I'm hanging a piss. This bitch runs in and grabs me like this and goes, "Yeah, they got the boys. Hubbard's dead. Hubbard's dead. Hubbard's dead." And I'm like, calm the fuck down. Like, fucking, well, go. He wasn't dead. He'd left and gone. They went outside to get in the car because we were about to leave, and they seen these cunts pull up and go blah blah blah, and they didn't see shit. They just jump into conclusions, right? So in that moment, I'm like, I'm in this house full of shit. Should I lock the doors? There's going to be a police investigation. So in that moment, I said, fuck it, let's get out of there. There was too much shit. Like, I'm not saying what there was, I'm not saying whose it was, but there was, yeah. So, we jump in the car and we get out of there before the police come, before anything. We were driving up Flushcombe Road. The police, by the time we got to the end of Flushcombe Road, the police went. So I went home and I woke up that next morning and I put on the news, and it was on the news, right? Now, the house that I locked up had a shitload of shit. I'm not saying what it is. It could have been fruit and veg, it could have been this and that. But generally speaking, it was two duffel bags like this, with all sorts of material. Some of the material was metal, some was biodegradable, some was vegetable matter. So, like, you get the point, right? So, Hubbard, the fucking nut, the Fruit Loop, right? The cops are there doing a fucking investigation. He goes into the house, grabs the bags, and walks past about 20 cops. Hey, how are yous? Jumps in the car, takes off. I go, you fucking idiot. Could have waited 3 days or something. Like, good on him. Some people were happy, but like, they weren't going in the house. It was a really risky maneuver, but sometimes when you act the most obvious, like if you're a criminal, don't act like a criminal. You know what I mean? Like, don't avoid police. I'm not here to give criminals tips, but I use the same shit when I first learned how to sneak backstage at concerts. Act like you're supposed to be there. Don't start like, oh. And Head Hubbard was either on some good weed that day or whatever, but I had to add that part of the story because, yeah, that is definitely part of the story. And that is the times the area, and the atmosphere that was created the song Sydney's Most Wanted. Hey, uh, comment which one you want to see next. Like, subscribe, all that fucking bullshit. Man, I got stories. I got hundreds of songs. And I know you cunts that like the old mixtape shit. This song that I just explained is the start of when I started doing original music. So this was when we in that we were still those mixtape cunts, and this was like stepping it up a notch and getting it a bit more professional. So like, man, that's a cool story. But like, I'm glad to share that with you guys. So, and I got a lot more. So tune in.